Now, did we really obtain a piece of land for £0? Let me explain. It's not rocket science, you just need to understand the rules of the game that you're playing. So this was actually awarded Property Deal of the Year in 2021. Here's the trophy right here. Now, this is the only deal, according to Jay Howard, who's a judge at the Property Investor Awards, that got awarded 10 out of 10 on every element of the deal. We took a defunct garage, which has been neglected for many years, spent £40,000 on it, got revalued at £400,000, and now makes a profit of £500 per calendar month. And the greatest thing is, we actually made this all happen during a pandemic. Now, this is how we did this. So in 2020, I was on Rightmove, and one of my alerts came up a commercial unit, and as you guys know, we specialize in commercial to residential conversions, and anything that comes up within our patch, we always have a look at. So I booked in a viewing to have a look at this commercial unit with some defunct uppers. Now the idea was to probably leave the commercial unit on the ground floor as it is, or chop up the rear to a residential unit and then have a smaller commercial unit. And the uppers, we wanted to ensure that we could get 5 to 6 ensuite rooms, which would be ideal because it was right next to a train line. It'll be in Marylebone in like 20 minutes. So this was an ideal HMO. During the visit, we had a look around the building. We liked it. The roof's been leaking for the commercial unit, but we knew we could turn this around within 6 months. Now, we walked around the building. To the rear, there was a service road, and we always inspect the rear of a building because it may have, some damage, or there could be some potential, like with a garden and so on, to actually do something. But with this commercial unit, it was actually built all the way to the back of the land. But to the back of the land, there's a service road which we had rights over, and there was a detached garage. It was in a dilapidated state. The roof has been leaking for many years. The brickwork was a bit shoddy because of all the water damage that it had sustained, but it was actually around 60 square meters in size. I asked the agent who actually owns this garage. He said, well, it's the vendor, but it's not included in the sale. I'm like, okay, why is that? Well, he said, it doesn't really add any value, so the vendors left it out. I'm like, okay, how about we do this? I'll give you full asking price for the commercial unit with the uppers, but you throw in this garage for free. And when that offer went across to the vendor, he snapped my hand off, and we agreed to buy this whole site, including these garages. Now, on completion, we asked our solicitor to actually title split the garages so it'll be on his own self-contained title. Now, the reason we wanted to do this was to ensure at a later date, when we refinance the uppers and the commercial unit, there's not a charge from the lender on the garage. Once we refinanced the commercial unit and the uppers, we turned our focus to the garage. As it had been ancillary use to the retail unit, we put in a prior approval application to change this to a 2/3 bed Muse house. Within 56 days, the local authority gave us planning permission, and we started our works. We actually spent about £40,000 on this property. It actually needed external wall insulation to deal with the fact that it was single bricked. We had to replace the roof, and then it was just internal partitions. So we put in partitions that would best suit this space and would be best use for the future occupants of the building. We wanted to make the building as low maintenance as possible, so we've got hard flooring throughout. We put in bespoke wood joinery walls that would actually give some character and give it that modern contemporary feel. Once the site was complete, we contacted our partners at CPC Finance, who were our brokers for the last 13 years. We said, okay, can we get this revalued? We think it's worth around 400,000. And it was quite a unique building. When the valuer came in, he was actually so surprised what we'd done with this particular space. And the valuation report came in at 400,000. And it's the first time that we ever 10x'd a property. So it cost us zero. We spent 40,000 on it. It got valued up at 400,000. That basically allowed us to pull out our initial 40K and an additional surplus, which is also tax-free because you don't get taxed on refinancing a property. You only get taxed when you come to sell it. Now, once this property was done, myself and Sanjay said, well, I don't think we've ever done a project like this. There's so little money spent on it, but the uplift in terms of percentage terms was just crazy. So we put this forward to the Property Investor Awards as Property Deal of the Year. Now, when we put this through, we always thought we would make a finalist, but when it actually came to the finals, we won. Myself and Sanjay said, wow, I think we did something amazing here. We bumped into one of the judges at the Excel Property Investors Show. And he said, Malkit, that deal that you put in, he goes, I still think about it. He goes, I've never given a deal 10 out of 10 on every category. Now make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date with all our property advice.